Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Lady Sasha Jones, and I am the Public Programs Coordinator here at the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture. I would like to welcome you all for being here with us tonight and share my warm thanks. This is the first week of our February programming, and I'm just absolutely thrilled to present to you this first installment of a new program series, Stage for Debate, that states respectability politics are a necessary tool for contemporary Black activism and liberation. That is the resolution that our debaters will be arguing tonight. And I just really want to extend and share my deepest gratitude for our speakers and presenters. Our moderator for this evening is actually our new associate producer, Ash Ty, and I'll let her take it away for the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Representing the affirmative side tonight, we have Dr. Randall Kennedy and Dr. Khalil Gibran Muhammad. And representing the negative team tonight, we have Dr. Brittney Cooper and Mychal Denzel Smith.
Parks and Martin Luther King Jr. in his first speech as a civil rights activist talks about why they settled on Rosa Parks. And they say, well, you know, Rosa Parks is a person who's known in the community. Everybody respects Rosa Parks. She will be a person who is absolutely above reproach and will therefore serve our movement well.
Respectability as a political project demands that we regulate the most marginalized in our communities from the top down, when really we should be spending our time trying to pressure power from the bottom up, and that is why I reject it.
My point is, again, that's right, putting your best foot forward. Should activists be attentive to how they come across? The answer to that is, of course. Should they be attentive to how they come across to their followers? Of course. Should they be attentive to people who don't know much, but who maybe they can bring over to their side? Shouldn't that be really quite uncontroversial?
And so the question is, who is being excluded? The rejection of a politics of respectability is not a rejection of, as you say, putting your best foot forward. The rejection is on the basis of how that respect is earned. And in the context of a white supremacist heteropatriarchal society, respect is earned by comporting oneself according to the cultural definition of respectable that has been defined by white supremacist heteropatriarchy, which will constantly define us out of it.
If nobody steps at the table, nobody can translate. If we lived in a different country, if individualism wasn't the unit by which we measure our own individual capacity for leadership, our capacity to represent others, if we did not live in that country, then we could reject the notion that respectability politics is a strategy, one among many, to advance racial liberation today.
If we continue to find ourselves complicit in that system, putting our best foot forward, putting our quote-unquote best minds forward, our most articulate, and allowing them to get sucked up into that system in the belief that they are better, that they represent better.
I mean, frankly, if you talk about living a good life, what does that sentence mean? If there is something that's not good. If you say you want to live a good life, you're excluding living a bad life.
Here's the point. I have a seat at the table because I have a PhD, and I'm angrier every time I leave the table that I fought my whole life to get a seat at than before I was there, because I get a front row seat to watch folks who are invested in white supremacy do levels of structural violence to our communities that we won't get out of for generations, and we don't have the power to solve it. So I am not invested in the myth of being at the table. I am not impressed by that shit. It doesn't mean anything if I don't have the power to structurally transform the institutional conditions that folks who aren't at the table face.
You see, my brilliant colleague, playing to both her strengths and to the crowd, discounts the indigenous values that African Americans actually hold dearly in this country. The very notion that their idea of propriety is only external or exogenous to who they are is more myth than reality. Just because you're in a position of power, just because you have the ability to communicate ideas that circulate in your community, doesn't mean you have to be a sellout in order to help your community. Thank you.
Unfortunately, I do have to wrap up tonight's debate, so this concludes our event. And I want to thank all of our debaters tonight, so I just want to give them a round of applause.
Is your thing written? Is your thing written?